She's a fellow Canadian from Prince Edward Island, a lobster fisher, and reality TV finalist on the biggest TV show of Netflix history. I'm so honored to be joined by Vanessa Clements, aka Player 017 from Squid Game The Challenge.
Having me once again. Excited.
I'm excited to get to know you and to know more about your journey. First of all, I feel like I should congratulate you on making it all the way to the finale, but also on being the only Canadian there, only Canadian representation on that big global stage. So thank you so much and congratulations. Like it was like top four out of
Yes.
456 players. It was pretty insane.
Thank you. I know I had this Canadian alliance plan in my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna work with the Canadians in there, and then I was the only one.
The only Canadian there.
Okay, let's just roll with it. Well, that's okay.
How have you been settling down with these past few weeks since that finale?
It's definitely been a roller coaster. There's good days. There's a few bad days, not gonna lie. Like, of course I didn't come home with the win, but like ultimately for my journey and my experience and everything I went through with like my big brother experience and then getting to go and make it all the way to the end with Squid Game, I am a winner. You know what, baby girl, you're good. You're good. You did amazing. I should have been out a million different ways throughout that game, and I just kept getting through. So
you were too good to be out too early.
Yeah.
You're too good.
I don't know, the Squid Game gods were looking after me there for a few moments throughout the game, but no, everything's great. Settling back to normal life and just kind of doing some normal everyday things now. I mean, the Squid Game stuff has definitely calmed down. It's still there, but yeah, things are going really good.
As I mentioned, you're a fellow Canadian. You're also a lobster fisher, and you're from Prince Edward Island, which I had the opportunity to visit this summer.
Amazing.
Yeah, you guys have the Canada's number one ice cream, guys. That's insane. Yeah, it was so good.
The best beaches and like the best views, in my opinion. Like PEI to me is just God's country.
It's land and sea, like such strong connection to land and sea. For anyone who hasn't been to PEI, how would you describe what it's like growing up there?
PEI is interesting. I remember being a little girl and thinking the whole world was like PEI, and then I did some traveling and I was like, nope, nowhere is like PEI. It can be good and bad in ways of like, it's very old school here. We're a little bit maybe behind the times with some things. That can be a good or bad thing. And there's just a lot of like hard workers here. If you don't lobster fish, you're most likely going to be a farmer or something in that realm. It's a place where, no joke, everybody knows everybody. So for me to go do these reality shows, like I am like A-list here for some reason, and I consider myself
as you should.
So like, even just I was just at the grocery store this morning and I just needed one thing, but I was there for about 45 minutes because I got stopped in every aisle, talk about Squid Game or even Big Brother still. So it's a place where when you do something, people are really, really proud of you, and they treat me here like I've cured cancer. And I wouldn't want to grew up anywhere else. So
that's amazing. Going from there to Netflix is a pretty massive jump.
I'll agree with you there. Did not see that one coming. When I went on Squid Game, I was just like, wow, I hope I can see the back of my head on Netflix. Like that, like hoping to see myself just in a little. I did not expect what happened. So it was, nothing but a great surprise for sure.
Yeah. And so I want to start off by asking, what was the casting process like on Squid Game? And more importantly, what pushed you to go through with it?
So it was pretty intensive. I'd say I got the call, like I applied after season 1, which I didn't get called until I think it was like September of the year. So it was about 9 months, 10 months of just, I kind of forgot I even applied. One day I was like getting a call from this like British number and I'm like, who the heck is this? Sure enough, I'm glad I answered the call though. There was medicals, there was criminal record checks, of course, a lot of different like recorded interviews and just different stages of the process. And ultimately, like what kept me in it was like my desire to kind of see something through to the end after my Big Brother experience. So just really quickly, in 2020, I was on Big Brother. Pandemic obviously took over the world during that time, and it did cancel my season short. So then it was just ripped away, and I was kind of always wondering, like, how would I do on something that doesn't end from a pandemic? I'd like to see how I myself either win or fail. Like, so that was my main motivation to just kind of keep going through with it. I honestly really enjoy the process of just
Yeah,
like seeing, oh wow, you guys still are interested in me? Cool. Like, all right. And then next thing you know, I had tickets booked to London, and
yeah.
I was just very excited. But yeah.
Yeah, you touched upon something I wanted to mention, your Big Brother Canada season, which by the way was the most talked about season because as you mentioned, it got canceled during COVID. Can you talk a little bit about that whole experience, like in the house, what happened? And also, was a show like Big Brother always something you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I was always a Big Brother fan. My favorite shows growing up was like Survivor, Big Brother, and Amazing
Yeah,
Race. I love those types of shows. And yeah, so the only one so far, anyways, the only one I did was Big Brother. But so I we left and never even heard the word COVID.
yeah,
We're put into a hotel room for 15 days before the game starts, and at that time is when you're cut off from the outside of the world. And then, of course, I went from there, then into the Big Brother house, again, still cut off from the outside of the world and just kind of like playing the game. When you're in these games, it's your whole life because you're living there and
yeah,
you're totally submersed, right? And I remember, I think it was just a couple days before the season got canceled, the producer coming over the big microphone, the Big Brother microphone, and being like, we kind of need to let you guys know about something that's going on out here. Like there's like a sickness going on, and like it was just the weirdest thing to be told because then you're like, you kind of forget about the game and you're thinking about your family then, and you're worried about
yeah,
what's going on out there. Like, it was the craziest thing ever. A couple days later, that they canceled the season. I basically what happened was the government said no non-essential businesses, and of course the TV show is
yeah,
non-essential. So I know the crew even tried to work with the government, saying, if we as crew members isolate here in the studio, can we keep the show going? Like the production really did try their best
hmm
to see it through, but ultimately it was just shut down. I'll never forget them like dropping me off at the Toronto airport where, there's usually like a million people. And there was like dust bunnies and like one or two people around, and they
yeah,
all had masks and gloves on. Why are people wearing gloves and masks? Like, what's going
yeah,
on in here? Like, I was truly terrified at that point. I got home. I wasn't even allowed to see my family for 2 weeks. Like, it was devastating because here my dream just ended and I can't even hug my family.
yeah.
It's
It's horrible.
weirdest experience ever. It was like coming out to a zombie apocalypse.
Best way to describe it was
Yeah.
such a crazy time. But I'm so
Was.
happy you got some sort of redemption going from that to, well,
Yes.
Netflix.
The ultimate redemption for sure. Yeah, really, really just blown away by how, I don't know, just I kind of got that closure, I think, that I
hmm
didn't get with the Big Brother thing. So I mean, yeah, very thankful for that.
And real thankful to have met you as well, on the show.
I'm glad. Like, there's so few people shown that I just feel so blessed to be part of those select few.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, looking back at the show, the O's, the people who got out in the first episode, like that could have been me. Just easily, it's one of those. It's just such luck. Very lucky when it comes to this whole Squid Game fiasco.
so take us to that first moment on set, because when you walked into that game environment, right? And I
hmm
don't know if you watched the Korean show, but they did such an incredible job at recreating the sets. And what kind of emotion hit you first? Was there a moment you realized, oh wow, this is way more intense than I expected?
Yeah. I love the Korean series. That's
Yeah.
why I got into it. I think I was actually the last group of people to enter the dorm. So we thought that the first thing we were going to be walking into was maybe like red light, green light. So, but no, we they don't tell you anything until the very moment that you're released into an area. But yeah, so I was the last people that got to join the dorm. So as I walked in, I mean, I saw the full 456 people in this room. I mean, right off the bat, it stunk in there.
Crazy.
It was hot. It was sweaty.
Yeah.
There was, just imagine it's not even 456 people, it's 456 really big personalities and
Yeah.
characters
In one
and
room.
people that Netflix consider a good potential winner of the entire show, right? So it was intense. I'll say I'm the most extroverted introvert,
Hmm.
meaning like, yeah, I really do like the social aspect of it, but it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty intimidating at first.
Hmm.
And just trying to find the Canadians in the crowd for me was a big thing
Yeah.
that was like, why is everyone American? Like, I thought there was going to be more. Surprised by how little Canadians they were. There were no other reality people. I definitely thought that there was going to be maybe some Big Brother US people, some
Yeah.
Survivor players, who knows, Beast Games. Like, I
Hmm.
just thought that there would be a few other familiar faces, I guess,
Were
for
you the only ones?
me. And there was one lady from Australian Survivor.
Oh wow, okay.
Her name was Joan. So like I didn't even know her because I don't watch Australian
Yeah.
Survivor, but so yeah, I definitely was shocked by that because I was like, if they're getting me, surely they're getting some big, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was wrong. But yeah, I mean the lineups, just everything about that first day was madness. You couldn't even go to the bathroom because the lineup was so long
Oh my
and
God. Yeah.
yeah, just so many people. So many people. But yeah, it was you knew in that moment that it like the game has started
Yeah.
because here's the thing is there was 456 people, but there was only 226 beds. Okay. So
Oh,
we knew right off the bat that we're going to play a game today and that we're likely going to be split in half. So it was
yeah.
kind of like game on as soon as we got in there for sure.
Did you like count the beds when you went in
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
I did because I was like, I wonder if we're all staying here tonight or if we're gonna do something today. So yeah, me and like one of my friends that I made early on were like, let's count the beds. So we went
Yeah.
around and counted all. It took a minute, but we knew like, okay, something's gonna happen where we're gonna be split in two. And sure enough, we were. So
You guys were right. Yeah.
yeah.
As you mentioned, it's a room with such big personalities. What helps you to stay grounded and present in that environment and like just for your mental health and your own well-being?
I think just like being unapologetically myself is something I'd say. I know a lot of people maybe were trying to put on a little bit of a front, but for me that becomes very exhausting and I just don't even bother with that. So if certain people didn't like me, I was going to be okay with that because I was just going to stick true to myself.
Yeah,
There's enough people in here that just because you don't like me, that's okay. The next 10 people might like me. So
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
all good. That was such a big difference from going from Big Brother to Squid Game, was just the amount of people. And it was just so easy to make connections in there. And it's just very easy to find people that are like you. So that
Mhm.
really helped me be grounded and finding me, for me, a little bit of like talking to other blue collar workers.
Yeah.
The older men in there really liked when I told them I was a fisherman. They're like, "You're a what? Like, tell me more about
You wouldn't
that."
expect that. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I just, I would lead with that and try to introduce myself in that way of just, I'm just a regular ass person and, let's get to know each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So let's talk about your strategy. I think from
sure.
seeing the games in season one, as most viewers, we saw it as luck. But there's also such a huge social element, like creating good alliances, making good friends in the dorms, as you said. But
hmm
did you have any strategy going into this? And you being from Big Brother, did it affect you in any way in the game?
A little bit. I will say definitely later on in the game when there was fewer numbers, it was
Yeah.
definitely something that people used as oh, she's already had her chance at this type of thing. Like, let's get her out. So it definitely later on when there was less places to hide, it became an issue with some of
Hmm.
the other players in there for sure. But ultimately, yes, like you said, it's so much luck. But I did watch season one a couple times before leaving, just to like I watched how Mai played, the winner of season one. I
Yeah.
just I just saw how little she did. She never volunteered. She never stuck her neck out for anything.
She was in the
She wasn't
back.
making
Yeah.
too many friends, but she wasn't making no friends either. Like she was just. I just think in a game with so many numbers like this, you really need to lay low, and that was my strategy, was like, Vanessa, be social, make your friends,
Yeah.
but don't make too many friends, because in season one there was somebody that got kicked out for making too many friends. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like you kind of can't win. So I think that was just my strategy, was to just lay super low, stick true to myself, but try to make yourself invisible, because after I realized there wasn't a lot of other reality people in there, I
Yeah.
was like, I need to make myself small.
How did you decide who to trust in an environment where, trust can be perceived as something dangerous?
It's tough. You kind of ultimately, I mean, there are some really good friends I made in there, of course, but like in the game, I didn't really trust anyone, I guess, to
Hmm.
be fair. I think we're all there to win. And I think it's naive to put full trust in anybody, because it's like they didn't come here to win it for me. You know what I mean? They came to win it for themselves. This is not a few $1,000s. This is 4.5 million US
Life
dollars. Like this,
changing, yeah.
just it's just stupid amounts of money. So yeah, I just kept that in my mind, where it's like you can trust some people and make some friends, but like ultimately, baby girl, no one's looking out for you but you.
Yeah, always, even in real life, that's how it is.
Amen to that. That's so true. Yeah.
When we see the games, we don't really understand the mental weight that goes when we play these games, as if when you're inside of the games. What was
Yes.
the hardest psychological moment for you that you believe the audience may not have understood completely?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I mean, there's a few. I would say one that maybe the audience wouldn't have seen was just how hard the game of Circle of Trust was for me.
Hmm.
I was actually heavily targeted during that game, and
Oh, really?
unfortunately, a lot of it got cut out.
Yeah.
Um, what people don't know is after Slides and Ladders, because me and my partner got first place, we actually were given like a 10-piece coin. And then we had to like, there was a lot behind it, but I ultimately was able to go into the boiler room before
Oh,
Circle
we
of
didn't see
Trust.
that.
I know, and it's hard to watch because there's so much missing from that part, especially for my game personally.
Yeah.
But I would say that I had a lot of people coming after me during Circle of Trust. I had to play a lot of mind games with people. I had to like basically make them scared to give me a box, and like it was really difficult, and I can't believe I made it through that game. I really shouldn't have, but I did. And that, that is definitely something that wasn't shown
Yeah.
on the edit for sure. There's only 9 episodes. They have to cut things out, so it's okay. But yeah.
Speaking of hard moments, I want to ask you about Mingle. That was such a such a turning point in your journey on the show, and watching that segment feels so much more intense than the Korean show.
The Koreans, it is actors, they're not
Yeah.
actually competing for this money, whereas we really are. And
Yeah.
yeah, like that's just why Mingle was so intense. Like they told us no pushing and shoving, but trust me, there was so much
Yeah.
pushing and shoving and just screaming and cursing. And yeah, like I should have been out in Mingle. I was out in Mingle. I mean, you even hear me say, "We're out." Like we didn't see that coming. Me and my group, we had plans up to the number 10. We didn't think they'd call a bigger number like 12 because the rooms were quite small.
Yeah.
Um, but sure enough, they called 12. We were not prepared for it. And I remember in that moment thinking like, okay, I make it to Mingle.
Yeah.
Cool. Like this is where I get out. I was literally unzipping my jacket so my squib would show good, the squib that we
Yeah.
wear underneath all of our
That
clothes. I was like, I
explodes.
want it to show, I'm gonna make it an epic death. I'm gonna go down crazy. Like, and as I'm like having this conversation in my head, it's like on the other side of the room, we need one.
You
Like,
outran them so quick, by the way.
I don't remember thinking. I don't remember breathing. I don't remember doing
Yeah.
anything. I just remember running for that door.
Hmm.
Yeah, the game changed for me completely at that moment because I had to outrace my friends. I mean,
Yeah.
my Viking friend who was twice my size, he was right on my ass, and like I could hear his stomps behind me,
Yeah.
like two, 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 and I was like, he's gonna beat me, he's gonna beat me, but yeah, somehow managed to make it in. Hands down, one of the craziest moments of my game for sure. I
Such a
love. I,
turning
I couldn't
point.
wait to
Yeah.
watch it back because in the moment I don't really remember it. So being able to see it on screen, I'm like, okay, that's what happened. Okay, cool.
What was it like once you got in the room? Like, what was going through your head?
Couldn't believe it because, like I said, I did kind of have a moment of acceptance of okay, I'm out now. Like okay, this is where the road ends for me, and the people that were in the room were so happy for me. You don't really see this in the edit either, but they were just like shaking me. They're like, "You made it, awesome!" And I'm just like, "Yeah, okay, like
Yeah.
cool." Like it was a very out of body experience for sure. And then the other side of that though is then I had to look out that peephole and see my friends die, which was tough. I mean, I was with them from day one. I had to reevaluate everything at that point, because I essentially had no friends left. I made new friends, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
We all had our friends from the beginning, and
Hmm.
ultimately, I think that helped me get to the end because I was able to lay even lower than I was before because everyone was like not looking at me because I guess they kind of maybe thought that I was like the lone wolf, right? Which I
Okay.
which I was to a degree. So I think it did help my game, but it was tough. It was a tough moment to outrace your friends.
Yeah.
I wish they needed all of us in that. They didn't. They only needed one. So yeah.
I want to ask you a question that I saw a lot of discourse online.
hmm
And was the end of Mingle scripted or not?
It was not, my friend. I swear to you. And I
How?
know, I know it looks a little like I know, but that's just Netflix editing. They
Okay.
what's not shown is like we started the revolt multiple rounds before that. There was like a group forming of people like we're not playing anymore. Everybody band together. We're not doing it. And as the rounds progressed and as the violence got worse, like we kind of like eventually agreed, you know what? Yeah, we let's stop playing now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it looks as though it just kind of magically happened, but it certainly did not. It not 1 second of it was scripted. I swear it was 100% genuine. It was the craziest filmed. I want to say we filmed for like over 12 hours that day. It was an
Oh,
extreme day. We took a break in the middle to eat. None of us could even eat. Like, but they had to give us a break and feed us at a certain point. And yeah, so what people don't understand is just how long it was and how mentally draining it was. So at that point, we all were wanting the game to be done.
I understand absolutely. It was just so intense to watch. For 12
Yeah.
hours, whoa, that's crazy.
That's the craziest thing watching it versus
Yeah.
living it is just how long everything was versus then when you watch this, like, it just seems so quick when you watch it, and it's like, but that took all day. uh, the magic of television, I guess, but
Reality TV, yeah.
reality TV.
So you just survived one of the most adrenaline-filled moments on TV, and suddenly you're facing Slides and Ladders, which, in my opinion, was the most visually striking game. In that game, a few people were pitted against each other.
hmm
How was that game like for you? That your experience on that game? Did you have a strategy for you or your partner?
I did. So basically, it was worrisome for me right off the bat. Sorry about my cat. He's
Oh no, don't worry about it.
um I was worried at first because me and my partner got put last place, and in a game in which it's kind of a race to the end. Whoever
Yeah.
the first six teams to make it to the end get to go on, right? So obviously us sitting in last place was not a good position to be in. I was quite worried about that. But after my first roll with the die, I
Hmm.
was like, okay, there's a game within the game almost always, and the game within the game for this one was the die. I know a lot of people afterwards they wish they would have thought of this, but like what I basically did was it was such a big foam die. I tried to predict or you know rig the roll a little bit. So
Okay.
basically what I would do is like determine, okay, what number gets me on a slide, because all you need to do in this game is not go down a slide.
Yeah.
As long as you're progressing up the board slowly, you're doing good. So let's say five would have put us on a slide. I would just put the five on the outside, like where my right hand is, for example, and I would roll the die super, super, super straight and try to make it that it's only going to land on the four numbers here
Oh,
and not that outside number. Man, it worked. It worked beautifully. We didn't go down
no one else
one
thought of
slide
that.
to experience the slide. I wish I, in a way, went down one, but not really, because yeah. So after a while, like at first, me and my partner were in agreement that we'd go back and forth for roles. But after I told him, like, dude, I got this die figured out, he's like, I want
Yeah.
you to roll for the rest of the game. Like, you have at
Awesome.
it. So I was able to figure that one out pretty good, and we actually ended up finishing first.
First, yeah.
Yeah. So we went from last to first. Doesn't happen a lot in Squid Game, but it somehow happened on that one, and yeah, we didn't have to go through the madness that was the rest of that game.
It was
Thankfully.
horrible.
So
Like it was crazy.
yeah, but I
Um,
agree. The prettiest game, hands down. It really was. I told the staff, I'm like, I hope you guys play a drinking game with this or something. Like, I hope you guys don't just
yeah.
tear this down now, because like it's. And I actually hope and think it'll probably make a return in season 3. So
Really?
I think so. I think that'll be the
Okay.
one game that we see from our season kind of go, kind of like how they did Circle of Trust in our season. I think that'll
Yeah.
be like Slides and Ladders for the next
The one that
season.
comes back.
Yeah.
That brings us to the insane dinner moment in the show where Trinity basically handed you guys the game by telling you guys where the coin was. Watching that unfold, were you suspicious the whole time? Because you were the last player to choose which coin you were going to take.
Yep.
Did you believe he would lie?
I was hands down in the worst position for that game, without a doubt. I really was. And again, I had that conversation with myself, kind of like in Mingle, where I had a little bit of a moment of like accepting that this is probably where I'm going to go. And while I'm having that conversation with myself, Trinity is then doing what he's doing, and telling
Yeah.
us that he wants to essentially give up his position in the game. And I'm just like, at first, I was very confused. Don't get me wrong, but after he explained himself, I mean, we were in tears. We were all like, we're basically like, for him to then trick me in that moment would have blown my mind. Believe me, I've gotten that question a lot, where like they were like, did you ever think when Trinity came to you he was tricking you?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I never once thought that, because of how emotional and just raw the moment was. But it would have been the ultimate move. That's for
Crazy
sure.
strategy.
No, that would have been. I think my jaw would still be on the ground if he did that to me in that moment, because I definitely wouldn't have seen that coming. As much as I didn't want him to do it, like in for the final five, like if I couldn't have won, I actually wanted Trinity to win. He was a really good friend of mine at that point
Yeah.
in the game, so I was broken to see him doing what he's doing. But I was also in the worst position for that game. I am the
Yeah.
person who arguably benefited the most from his decision. So it's kind of, when he came to me and I was still trying to convince him not to do it, it then dawned on me, like, Vanessa, don't be too convincing now, because
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get yourself out of this game if you convince him to change his mind on what he's doing. So, you know, he told us God was convicting him to do it. So it just got to the point where, like, I certainly am not going to overstep God. If this is what you want to do and this is your moment, like, I'm going to support you in that.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. We all agreed in the moment, whoever wins was going to make sure that Trinity was good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So whether that's being held up or not, I'm not sure. But I know if I would have won, Trinity would be fine.
Yeah. Did at any point production step in? Because, the game was being played in a way that wasn't supposed to be played.
Right. And I was wondering if they were going to as well. Like in the moment, I'm like, what are they thinking?
Yeah.
But what I'll say to that is, one, they did not come in. They didn't overstep anything. And then two is actually when Trinity then was squibbed and he went down on the ground. What happens off camera is production comes out and gets you. And when production came out to get him, I mean, they were crying. I could see in production, like I think that they were also just as much in that moment as we were. I don't think that they were thinking like, oh, he screwed up the game or anything. I think that they felt that moment as well, because yeah,
Okay.
they were all crying, and it was just there wasn't a dry eye in the building. I don't think.
So that brings us to the final game, which I don't think anyone, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you guys expected it to be red light, green light.
You know what? Let's just skip that last game.
Yeah, that's
We
like,
don't gotta talk about the last no, no. I would never have guessed red light, green light.
yeah.
For some reason, I'll tell you, this is how naive I am, and how like positive thinking I am. Is like, okay, season 2 of the Korean series, right? We stuck true to all the things. We did Mingle, we did the six-legged
Yeah.
pentathlon. The only thing we didn't stick true to in season 2 was the option to split the money. Okay. I had this crazy thought that the four of us were going to walk into a game where
Yeah.
we were going to like essentially have the option. Come here, kid. Essentially, we were going to have the option to be able to split the money. I was like thinking we're all going to go home with a little over $1 million. Like, woohoo, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought it wasn't going to be like just split it. I thought there was going to be some sort of game where maybe we had to like secretly decide it, and I don't know. I didn't know what they were going to come up with, but I was hopeful that there was going to be some sort of ability to do that. But I get it. It's reality TV. That's not dramatic. You know, I get that they want to have one winner. But yeah, definitely did not see red light, green light coming. That was a trip.
What was your thought process when you were standing on that line? You know, like life-changing moment ahead of you. What was
Oh,
going on?
a million, 4.56 million things were going on in my head. I think one thing that I was really thinking about that last final day was, you know, as a Canadian, I'm potentially winning 6.6 million Canadian dollars. That's what
Hmm.
the conversion would be. And then
Yeah.
it would also be tax free here in Canada. So there was a lot of pressure. I knew that there was a lot on the line for me. And I also started to think about what my life would look like here on PEI if I was to win that much money in such a public way. You know, don't get me wrong, I still wanted the win, but I did start to question it a little bit. Because when you go in a game like this, you'd never think you're gonna make it to the end, let
Hmm.
alone have the chance to win. You know what I mean? I never even really considered the money. But then when things got serious, I was like, okay, I could actually go home with this money. Like my life could potentially change forever right here. Um, and yeah, a lot of things were going through my mind. The pressure was real. And ultimately, the strategy behind what I was trying to do was to make the most of every song. I looked at Steven. I looked at how he was taller than me, and I started
Yeah.
thinking, even if we go at the same pace, he's going to make it there quicker than I am because he's got the longer strides. So I had myself convinced that I had to move the full song,
Yeah.
and that's where I went wrong. I didn't play it safe enough. I I know the edit makes it look like I overran the song. I swear I didn't. But what I did do was run the full song whereas everyone else only ran half the song and then got themselves in position, got themselves locked,
Yeah.
comfortable. You know what I mean? Like they weren't as like under the pressure as I was. I think I let the pressure get to me a little bit, and it I didn't play it safe enough. Ultimately, is kind of what went down. I think for me
Hmm.
in red light, green light.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
yeah. Hey, but top four is still a win. You know, like
I'm more than happy. And now that I watched the game and how the other two went out, like I kind of don't mind how I went out. At least I didn't like break a leg or
oh, that was crazy to watch.
crazy. So, I mean, you know, of course, every 400, all 456 people would have loved to win, but you know what?
Hmm.
There's 452 people that would have loved my position too. So I kind of take that, and I kind of, I'm able to see it for what it is, and I'm able to still be, you know, thankful and
Yeah.
appreciative of the whole thing. And, you know, it is what it is. Are there some days where I'm like, oh my God, like, wow, I can't believe I lost that? Like, yes, there are. Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, it's a game, and I just feel so lucky to have made it as far as I did. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
When you guys did get eliminated, did you guys stay in the building behind the scenes? Did you guys find out who the winner was? Oh,
No, oh God, no. That was like a very even the production team only had as little people as possible working in the building that day because it is ultimately a very big secret, and
yeah.
you know they don't want us to find out. So no, once I was eliminated, I was then not only escorted out of the game, but like I was escorted out of the building. Like I was like brought to a whole other studio building where, you know, I then waited for hours upon hours that I needed to like sign a few things. But yeah, no, I definitely didn't find out who won. I mean, I talked to my people and kind of had, you know, I kind of was able to figure it out on my own, but no, I didn't get to sit there and watch it or anything like that, which I don't think I would have been able to get through that anyway. I was just so I don't know,
So,
emotionally. I was pretty broken in the moment, like, oh my God, my family's gonna like disown me. I was just having my own little moment. Um, so yeah, no, I was definitely not allowed to watch the rest of the game, but
mhm.
but I did find out who won. So
You guys should all be so proud of yourself. That
thank
journey
you
and
so
that
much.
impact that had on you can't be taken away from you.
That's right. It was a life-changing experience, hands down, for sure, for sure. I'll always cherish that moment. And I think something that somebody told me after coming home was like, um, losing is more important, or how did he word it? Like losing, you learn more about yourself from losing than winning, and that's very true. I've learned a lot about myself throughout this, and just how to handle it. Not
Yeah.
everything's going to go your way, and you need to be able to kind of forge on and still continue to be happy, and just be happy with the experience that you had. And even the O's, even the people who went out in the first half hour of the show, they also need to find, like, we all need to find that just piece of, that's my experience, that's what it was,
Yeah.
and nothing's ever going to change it, so I may as well be happy with it. So
For someone listening who's about to take a big leap into the uncertainty, what would you like to tell them?
Oh, well, I mean, the obvious would be to go for it. I think the other thing to keep in mind is, like, I know a lot of people hold back, maybe because, at least this is how I was, especially when I was younger. I held back because I was worried about what other people think. And that's one thing that you need to just let go of, because you know
Hmm.
what? Nobody cares. Like,
Yeah.
nobody is as concerned about you as you are. Everyone's concerned about themselves. I remember reading a book of, like, you would be offended at how little people actually do think and worry about what you're doing. So it's good to keep that in mind, of just like, live your life for you. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks, because we're only here once, and I think that it's just better to have done it than not to have done it at all.
Such powerful words. Thank you so much for sharing,
Of
Vanessa.
course.
And where can our listeners follow you if they want to connect?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok now, and I'm on Facebook. You can find me, Vanessa Clemens, and on TikTok and Instagram it's with a Z at the end. So
Okay.
yeah, you can find me there. I'm pretty easy to find. So
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
no problem. Thank you so much.